Carla, you were asked to kind of design something for the Stitchery Collective for our Stitchery Collections kind of See It, Love It, Make It project.
Yes.
And you decided to do an upcycling of a vest made out of some t-shirts. Why did you decide to do that one?
Well, I used the t-shirts because it was a continuation of what Stitchery had been doing for a project in Venice.
Yep.
And so it seemed like a good thing to continue with, but on a sort of more, with a more developed design, a
Yep.
more finished piece.
Yep.
And also because I like the challenge of remaking something and using something that already exists, and instead of making, I like the challenge of the transformation of something, and the challenge of coming up with a good design.
Okay. Using stuff that's already around.
Yes.
Because I imagine that's much more challenging than trying to then getting a piece of fabric and going, what can you do with that? Because you're working with existing shapes and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I find it easier to have to work with things that are already that have their own form already, because I find it easier to see possibilities.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to designing, as
Oh.
opposed to sketching.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay, because I would have thought because I don't know, I just imagine that for most designers working from ground zero, it might be easier than trying to kind of come in later. But for you, it's opposite.
For me, it's the opposite. I find it easier to problem solve, and it's like a design challenge and
a kind of puzzle or something.
A puzzle, yeah. I actually find it a lot easier to do that than to start with like a blank page and blank canvas.
Okay, so you're not one of those designers, because one of my questions was about do you kind of sketch out, or do you drape, or how do you kind of work as a designer?
Well, when I was studying, I actually used to. Originally, I used to do a lot of sketching and developing ranges through sketches, and then towards the end of in my final year, I just was doing that almost obsessively, and I could never make a decision.
Yeah.
So I'd have sketchbooks and arrange, and then it just was just
overwhelmed by possibility, or
it was too much, and then I couldn't make any decisions.
Yeah.
So that's when I just started working in a different way altogether. And
what kind of put you onto that track?
A looming deadline where I had 7 weeks to do a collection, and I still hadn't made any decisions, so it was I have to. It was basically I didn't make any. I trialed some things, but basically I had real fabric, and I just had to make it work.
Yeah.
Otherwise
you would kind
of
fail.
Just started cutting into things, and
Yeah.
and then I kind of liked that challenge and continued to work that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now I think I start that way, but then I'll document the process, and I go back and do a lot of drawings now, but it's more ideas that come from what I can see emerging. So I will sketch and take photographs, but it's easier for me to. I find that more ideas come out if I've got something that I can start three-dimensionally see where it's going.
Okay, so you even if it's a t-shirt, and you chop out the t-shirt on a piece, so you have the t-shirt shapes, and then you can kind of manipulate them so you play with them 2D on tables, as well as on dummies.
Yeah, both.
Okay.
Because then I can see, I can see more options.
Yeah.
And I seem to get more ideas that way. Whereas just
kind of sitting down and drawing a dress.
I don't think I don't really find that interesting either.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't really enjoy that as much as not knowing what something might become. So,
Right. So kind of the possibility and potential of. That's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, cool. So was that how? Because I know one of your kind of career highlights was the Paris kind of time. Was that kind of how that all happened, or
actually, that was kind of a different process because, well, Carla, who I was also working with, she works in the opposite way. So she would do a lot of sketching and then develop a range.
The kind of traditional
coloured
model.
Yeah. So that was how that collection started. Except the pieces that I was working on would be, I would start on something that I knew perhaps would become a dress, or it could be a jacket or a cape or something, but didn't actually know what it would look like until I sort of started developing. So I had the piece that in mind that the collection needed, but not like a sketch of what it would look like until
Right.
So a bit more controlled, I think, but than other so.
Okay, so it was kind of a combination of those two ideas.
Yeah.
So you'd have so she kind of designed stuff, and then you'd kind of see gaps where things needed to be kind of put in, and so you'd go and find an object that was existing that kind of you could see to be transformed into that thing, or did you kind of start working with fabric to kind of create that thing? Does that make sense as a question? Sorry.
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah, a bit of both actually. So she would have like a complete thing like in her mind and be able to draw exactly what she wanted to make and would make it exactly that way. But I would say, okay, I'm doing this piece, but I can't. The design of it, the specific design might change as kind of work on it, and and that's how that happened. So, but we'd have colour in mind, like this piece needs to be black, or this piece needs to be a red or something, and so then I would start working with those colours, and source